अनेषु च सर्वेषु यथाभागमवस्थितः भीष्मदेवाभिरक्षन्तु भवन्तः सर्व एव हि. All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. Purport. Duryodhana, after the praising the prowess of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So, in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma Deva was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man, so everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides. He might become engaged in the fight, and the enemy might take advantage of his full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that other heroes not leave their strategic positions and allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Duryodhana clearly felt that the victory of the Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishma Deva. He was confident of the full support of Bhishma Deva and Dronacharya in the battle because he well knew that they did not even speak a word when Arjuna's wife Draupadi, in her helpless condition, had appealed to them for justice while she was being forced to appear naked in the presence of all the great generals in the assembly. Although he knew that the two generals had some sort of affection for the Pandavas, he hoped that these generals would now completely give it up as they had done during the gambling performances. तस्य संजयनर्षर्ष क्रूरवृद्धः सिंहनादं विनोदोच्चे शंखौ दद्मौ प्रतापवान्. Translation. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Dronacharya joy. Purport. The grandsire of the Kuru dynasty could understand the inner meaning of the heart of his grandson Duryodhana, and out of his natural compassion for him, he tried to cheer him by blowing his conch shell very loudly, befitting his position as a lion. Indirectly, by the symbolism of the conch shell, he informed his depressed grandson Duryodhana that he had no chance of victory in the battle because the Supreme Lord Krishna was on the other side. But still, it was his duty to conduct the fight, and no pains would be spared in that connection. ततः शंकाश्च भैर्यश्च पनवानकगोमुखाः सहसैवाभ्यहन्यन्त स शब्दस्तु मूलो भवत. Translation. After that, the conch shell, drums, bugles, trumpets and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sounds was tumultuous. ततः श्वैतैर्हैर्युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितौ माधवः पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शंखौ प्रदद्मुतः. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on the great chariot drawn by white horses, surrounded their transcendental conch shells. Purport. In contrast with the conch shells blown by Bhishma Deva, the conch shells in the hands of Krishna and Arjuna are described as transcendental. The sounding of the transcendental conch shells indicated that there was no hope of victory for the other side because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas. Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Victory is always with persons like the sons of Pandu because Lord Krishna is associated with them, and whenever and wherever the Lord is present, the goddess of fortune is also there because the goddess of fortune never lives alone without her husband. Therefore, victory and fortune were awaiting Arjuna as indicated by the transcendental sound produced by the conch shells of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Besides that, the chariot on which both the friends were seated had been donated by Agni, the fire god, to Arjuna, and these indicated that this chariot was capable of conquering all sides wherever it was drawn over the three worlds. Panchajanya Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Poundram Dadmo Mahashanka Bhigva Karma Vrukodaraha. Translation: Lord Krishna blew his conch shells called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Poundra. Purport: Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesha in this verse because he is the owner of all senses. The living entities are part of and parcel of him, and therefore the senses of the living entities are also part and parcel of his senses. The impersonalists cannot account for the senses of the living entities, and therefore they are always anxious to describe all living entities are senseless or impersonal. The Lord, situated in the hearts of all living entities, directs their senses, but he directs in terms of the surrender of the living entity, and in the case of a pure devotee, he directly controls the senses. Here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Lord directly controls the transcendental senses of Arjuna, and thus his particular name of Rishikesha. The Lord has different names according to his different activities. For example, his name is Madhusudana because he killed the demon of the name of Madhu. His name is Govinda because he gives pleasure to the cows and to the senses. His name is Vasudeva because he appeared as the son of Vasudeva. His name is Devaki Nandana because he accepted Devaki as his mother. His name is Yashoda Nandana because he awarded his childhood pastimes to Yashoda at Vrindavana. His name is Parthasarthi because he worked as a charioteer of his friend Arjuna. Similarly, his name is Rishikesha because he gave direction to Arjuna on battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya in this verse because he helped his elder brother in fetching wealth when it was required by the king to make expenditures for different sacrifices. Similarly, Bhima is known as Vrikodara because he could eat voraciously as he could perform Herculean tasks such as killing the demon Hidimba. So the particular types of conch shells blown by the different personalities on the other side of Pandavas, beginning with the lords, were all very encouraging to the fighting soldiers. On the other side, there were no such credits, nor the presence of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Director, nor that of the Goddess of Fortune. So they were predestined to lose the battle, and that was the message announced by the sounds of the conch shells. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthirah Nakulah Sadevascha Sughoshamani Pushpakau Kashyascha Parameshwasah Shikhandi Maharatah Drushtadumno Viratascha Satyakischa Parajitah Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvashah Prithivapate Saubadrascha Mahabahu Shankhanadmu Pruthaka Pruthaka. Translation: King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shells, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Sughosha and Mani Pushpaka, the great archer, the king of Kasi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Draupada, the sons of Draupadi, and the others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Purport: Sanjaya informed King Dhritarashtra very tactfully that his unwise policy of deceiving the sons of Pandu and endeavoring to enthrone his own sons on the seat of the kingdom was not very laudable. The signs already clearly indicated that the whole Kuru dynasty would be killed in the great battle, beginning with Grandsire Bhishma down to the grandsons like Abhimanyu and others, including kings from many states of the world. All were present there, and all were doomed. The whole catastrophe was due to King Dhritarashtra because he encouraged the policy followed by his sons. Saghosho Dhartarashtraanam Hrudayani Vyadarayat Navascha Prithivim Chaiva Tumulo Bhya Nunadayana. Translation: The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Purport: When Bhishma and the others on the side of Duryodhana blew their respective conch shells, there was no heart breaking on the part of the Pandavas. Such occurrences are not mentioned, but in this particular verse it is mentioned that the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra were shattered by the sounds vibrated by the Pandavas' party. This is due to the Pandavas and their confidence in Lord Krishna. One who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of the greatest calamity. अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रा अन्विध्वजः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसमाप्ते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यमिदमः महीपते. Translation: At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanumana, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. Purport: The battle was just about to begin. It is understood from the above statement that the sons of Dhritarashtra were more or less disheartened by the unexpected arrangement of military force by the Pandavas, who were guided by the direct instructions of Lord Krishna on the battlefield. The emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna is another sign of victory, because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Rama in the battle between Ram and Ravan, and Lord Ram emerged victorious. Now both Ram and Hanuman were present on the chariot of Arjuna to help him. Lord Krishna is Rama himself, and wherever Lord Rama is, his eternal servitor Hanumana and his eternal consort Sita, the goddess of fortune, are present. Therefore, Arjuna had no cause to fear any enemies whatsoever, and above all, the Lord of the senses, Lord Krishna, was personally present to give him direction. Thus, all good counsel was available to Arjuna in the matter of executing the battle in such auspicious conditions arranged by the Lord of his eternal devotee lay the signs of assured victory. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare.